Hi.
Hi, Maria.
Hmm.
We really should have the pre-show where we capture.
You guys would love our pre-show.
The pre-show involves many tears.
Today's
A poop break.
pre-show, a poop break.
I had a great poo.
Yeah, so basically today's pre-show involved me breaking into tears and bawling my eyes out, and then Katrina needing to run to go poo afterwards.
And I did some baking in there as well, actually.
In the bathroom, or
no, not in the bathroom. In the time frame, I took chickpea blondies out of the oven. We had a good pre-show.
We really did. Yeah,
this is the end, Maria.
I know.
Of the book.
Yes.
Deeper Dating, if you're new to this ride.
Deeper Dating by Ken Page. Yeah, we've been
dating for eons.
We have been dating for eons. We've been reading this book chapter by chapter. There's an episode for each chapter if you haven't been following along, and talking about what we've learned, how it's applied to our own dating lives over the past year.
Like so long.
So like
year and a half?
Yeah.
I can't even believe it. I can't believe I've been dating for that long.
What do you mean? I haven't been. I basically just pulled the chute and was like, I'm out. I'm not dating now for 6 months. You do the work, Katrina.
I've been doing a lot of dating in the past 6 months, though. I'm pretty proud of myself. I've learned a lot about what I want, what I'm looking for, what I'm bringing to the table. Like, I've learned a lot. It's depressing as fuck still. Like, you know, like...
Well, you know what? It's also depressing not dating. So maybe it's just life is depressing.
It's just life. It has nothing to do with whether you're dating or not. Both can be equally depressing.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, it's not just straight up depressing. It's just a roller coaster is what it is.
Yeah, agreed. It is a roller coaster on both ends, whether you're... Well, I was dating at some point in the past year and a half, just not for the past 4.5 months, just so I could date myself, which is...
You moved across the country since the last time we made an episode.
I did move across the country. Yeah. I'm in Squamish, British Columbia, in a small town of 20,000 people in the mountains, where it rains a lot.
I love it.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Katrina's going to come
I've fallen in love twice since our last episode.
Twice within like a matter of... Since our last episode? Yes. Well,
I was in the middle of falling in love, I think, in our last episode. I could hardly contain it. And I was like, wait, I have to talk about it next time. And now I'm like, wow. Over. And the next one also over. It's good, though. My coach tells me that, like, I just keep cutting the half-life of how soon I can detect that someone's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, first it took 6 months, then it took like 1 week. Not 6 months, 6 weeks.
Yeah, I was like, who is 6 months? Yeah.
God, I don't have that fortitude. No.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that.
Well, I feel like, so we're on the last chapter, and another crazy thing that happened since our last episode was I found out I have a tumor in my head that looks cancerous, and I'm waiting to have more information about that, but it's just wow. And so then the beginning of this chapter, he shares a story of this man who had like a really crazy hospitalization experience. Mm-hmm. And then he was in the hospital for a year. And I'm just going to read this quote because I was like, holy shit. In that year, for the first time in his life, he was cared for, listened to, and treated as though he mattered. Those 14 months of attention and care were enough to heal many of his lifelong wounds. His hunger to be recognized was finally met in the most unexpected way. That period changed the course of his entire life. He felt his time in the hospital was almost like a religious rebirth. And I was just like, holy shit, of course, like 10 pages in, he's in the ether or something. He knows when to give the messages and all the timings just aligned. And I feel like this is a really big thing for me around like being recognized and like listened to and cared for and treated seriously. Like, took out tumor in my head to like feel like I can ask for that in like a bigger way from people. So yeah, it's just really, a lot has happened since our last episode.
And isn't it so crazy that story was in this last chapter?
Mind-blowing.
Like I was reading it and I was like, oh my gosh, Katrina. And the chapter is called Being Loved into Fullness. And this man who was like sick in the hospital was like very egocentric. Like he basically came out of the experience after being loved wholeheartedly for like a year and a half, like a completely changed person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And I feel like that's going to be a part of your journey as well. Is
totally. I think it's softening my bitterness already.
Aww.
Because it's so, I mean, you know, just when we started, we're like, oh, it's so depressing. Like, it's very easy to get, I think one of my core gifts is my sensitivity and how much I'm able to feel. And so it's so easy to just be like, nobody is treating me with like the gentleness that I require. Nobody, you know, like nobody can meet my needs for this. And I think this whole, you know, tumor situation is going to really show me how loved I really am. So yeah, you know, just gonna like let some love in. Might not be romantic, but I am very loved, and letting people like be sensitive with me and take me seriously.
I think you've been loved and taken seriously this whole time. It's just you're now actually maybe seeing it or allowing it in.
Yeah. I think I've been dwelling on the people who haven't loved me in the ways that I've wanted to be loved. Cough, cough, mom issues. You know, just like inner child wounding.
Totally.
And I had a really big realization after this last interaction, this week-long love affair, where I was like, I think I'm just looking for my family inside of all of my romantic relationships. Like that's what I'm most hungry for, is family. And so yeah, I think maybe this little journey is going to be about healing that and like really finding my sense of family.
Yeah, you can choose what family you want, right? Whereas we come in with the ones we choose them too coming into this life, but they carry some heavy stuff with them and in those relationships. And yeah, it feels like we then spend our whole life trying to heal what came up as in our childhood and with our families. Maybe it doesn't take our whole lives. Maybe it does. I don't know. Do you have any theories on that?
I think it's so persistent and deep that it can take your whole life. I think that's why like having a life-threatening thing come up is so powerful, because then you're like, let's fucking wrap this one up. It just gives you, it snaps things that are important really into focus. So I mean, you could probably also just do DMT, like that the drug that is the chemical that's releasing in your brain when you're about to die. That would probably be, not that I'm condoning illegal drugs.
We are not advocating for DMT use. If you choose to use it, great. I personally haven't done it. Have you done DMT?
I've only done it once, and I didn't have a super successful experience because it was with a vape pen. I just felt kind of sketchy about it, and you have to, the process is like kind of intense, not intense, specific, and I was just inexperienced, so I didn't I didn't get to have a full experience. But I feel like the past almost 2 weeks of just knowing that I could be dying, and just thinking about death all day, every day, I think DMT like started releasing in my brain. And it was really trippy.
Yeah, how did it feel?
I felt so alive, especially when I was on that date with the guy. So I found out in the car while I was driving to a first date, and then I still went on the date, and he met me in really beautiful ways. It was just like my heart was so open, so raw, and I felt like I was on like powerful hallucinogens that whole time, and I was on nothing. Yeah, there's just, you don't realize how much you're holding yourself together until you are like, okay, this could all be over, and there's like no time to waste, and you're just like, okay. And it's pretty hot. It's like really a lot of feelings.
Interesting.
I'd be so curious to hear from, I mean, I'm not terminally ill. I still don't even know what this tumor is. It looks cancerous, but I don't know. But it'd be so curious to hear from people who dated while they had terminal illness. I know there's a podcast about like love and dating. I'm forgetting the name of it. We should put it in the show notes. And there was one episode about a woman who was dating while she was terminally ill, and she wouldn't tell some of her dates, and the whole thing was just really interesting, the psychology of it all. I think, what's that podcast? I'm gonna try and look it up.
Yeah, like, are you planning on dating?
I haven't decided if I want to keep dating. What do you think? Got any words for the wise? Words to the wise?
Honestly, I feel like I would just be, it depends. I think I would be tempted to just go on a rampage.
Right?
Because it's like, but, you know, maybe once you have more information, but again, nothing is necessarily a death sentence anyways, because there's so much healing that can be done. But I think I would just go a little wild and then realize that that's not actually what I want. And then want someone to just hold me and be with me in the process.
Totally. I know. So the podcast is called Modern Love.
Modern Love. Okay. What episode number is it? Do you remember? It's okay. We'll find it. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. It was pretty great.
That's
I don't know if I'll keep dating. I would like to, I'm like, would anyone in their right mind date someone with a brain tumor?
Yeah, 100%.
Who knows?
I definitely think people would. I think it would show you a lot about the people that you are meeting, what they have a capacity for, right?
True. Nobody's freaked out so far. Like, I've told people on the dating apps, I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I have a tumor, I just found out about.
Oh, and how do they respond typically?
Oh, like, how much do you want to talk about it, or do you want to tell me about your day? That's what the last guy said. It was really nice.
That is really nice. Okay, so you are dating. You're on that.
I'm still dating, Maria.
Katrina, you kill me.
But am I gonna keep dating? I don't know. I told one guy today that I was taking a step back, but I was actually just taking a step back from him.
Oh, fair. Hey.
So I'm gonna maybe use this health stuff as a however I want.
You have every right to use it however you want. Honestly, it's your life journey.
It's definitely snapping things into focus. I'm like, I don't want to, this guy like lives with roommates, sounds like he just had like a lot of money scarcity stuff going on, didn't like his job, like things that aren't meeting my standards, and I'm just like, no.
Perfect. Yeah, you just said to me the other day, that's not what you want. So the universe was like, here you go. Are you sure? Test.
Testing. I know, so many tests.
And you said no. Good on you.
How's not dating going?
How's not dating going? It's great. And I'm sorry if you guys can hear the screaming child upstairs, but it's I have a little bit of anger in me right now because, and I would just want to address why I was crying before we connected. Yes. And it's because if you follow me on Instagram, you know about my journey and moving across the country and selling, 95% of my possessions and trying to find a place, like pretty much starting in June. It is now, what month is it? October. And haven't been able to find a place. So finally this place came up that was ticking all the boxes, other than like the location in town and the color of the furniture, like very minimal things in my budget, just wonderful. And I was supposed to go see it tomorrow. I was like thinking this is for sure the place. And I just got an email right before we jumped on this call that said, we found a tenant, good luck with your search. And that really pissed me off because I'm just going to be straight up. I'm pissed because I asked to see this place sooner. I was like, I wanted to see it on the weekend. They're like, we live in Vancouver. We can't come until Wednesday. My day is so insane tomorrow. And I was like, I have this time slot. And yeah, I didn't get it. And here I am back to fucking square one. No place to live as of November 1st. And I know it's a first world problem and I know I'll find a place, but I just been wanting to ground in and settle in and like have a home here. And I know it's a part of me being tested to trust that something better is coming. And that place that I was going to get was, or that I thought was my place, looked very much like my old home in Ontario, Oakville, Ontario. So maybe that was also a message of like, you're not meant to live in the same type of place. So yeah, so whatever. So that's what I was angry about. So I just wanted to address that. So I still have like a little bit of anger in my energy. So you guys might feel it a little bit when we're talking about things. So when you're asking me about how's not dating going,
I'm fucking terrible.
It's honestly, it's amazing at times and hard at others. I'm feeling like that deep yearning within me to be loved and seen and held and worshiped and touched. And then there's another part of me that is terrified and doesn't feel ready to do so, because I know now when I go back into dating, I can't go back the same way I was dating before. Like this time it's fucking so vulnerable, so real, so open-hearted, and that terrifies me. So yeah, I'm glad I have a month and a half to go. I'm also like, I have my moments where I'm like, oh, it feels so long, a month and a half. But it's been a really, really great journey so far in terms of how much I've learned about myself, and all of my attention has just been on me.
Speaking of that, I followed your lead and I also proposed to myself.
Yay!
I got it from Blue Boho as well.
I was gonna ask you. It's
got two extra ones.
Katrina's showing all of her rings. So
I don't know if you can see, I have removed my face from that. Oh yeah, if you're listening to the audio, we both bought ourselves like kind of engagement rings.
Yeah, there's a video version of this. We're recording the video. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I have to write my vows still, but
I know, me too. I have to actually do the official ceremony because that was like the engagement, and now there needs to be the wedding ceremony in the mountains.
Oh, that's gonna be beautiful. Maybe we can officiate for each other when I come out.
Oh, that would be so nice.
That would be really beautiful.
It would be really beautiful. I just have this vision like on the top of the mountains and like the wind blowing and just love. What stone is that? Do you
I was
remember?
looking it up yesterday. It's called, I have the receipt here. Black spinel. Spinel?
Oh.
And let me just pull it up here because it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's a lot about protection. Repels
Oh.
negativity and grounds the user. And get this, to get rid of anger and resentment.
Wow. I just had a deja vu, by the way. That's weird.
Oh,
Big
great.
time. Yeah.
Also, inspiration and a better sense of empowerment without overwhelming others.
Wow.
It's like the perfect stone for me.
It is the perfect stone.
It is a
Yeah.
stormy stone.
I love that you just went and bought yourself all this jewelry. It's the best.
Yeah, I was like, if I would want my lover to be like, do you want another one? You can have two. And then like, how about a third? Because that one's nice too. And I was like, yep.
Oh, you're the best lover to yourself.
I am. I'm so nice.
I know. I feel like I really want to do something extra special for myself because I'm feeling really sorry for myself right now. And I wish you guys could see it's like pouring rain. And
oh my God.
I'm just sad that no home wants me and my dog. And like, why? I just want to settle. Anyway, so it's been, did you read Ken's afterword? Because it was really beautiful too.
Yeah, I did read it. I didn't read all of it, let's be real, but I skimmed. I thought it was really sweet, like when he said that, I wish I could be a fly on the wall and watch your moments of bravery, and I was like, Ken.
I know, I loved him so much in that moment.
Yeah, it's really sweet. He pulled it all together, you know, like he began this journey with a micro meditation, imagining being sent off on this journey by people who care about you. And I couldn't even remember what I thought about it the first thing. This journey has been so long that I know I couldn't remember the beginning.
I remembered like one friend. I could remember one friend only.
That's good.
So she was there.
Must have been a good friend.
And then there's a second meditation.
The closing gift.
Yeah. Which you like end up connecting in with your future self, who,
oh yes, I liked that one,
gives you like a message or like a lesson.
Do you have any messages, Maria?
Yeah, I wrote, and then there's like the practice of writing a letter to yourself, which I actually did.
Oh, good for you.
But then I'm like, I can't even mail it to myself because I don't have an address.
Oh my God,
so
cue the drama.
I'm so dramatic right now.
Love it.
So the letter was like answering these three things, like what you appreciate about yourself. Number 2 is whatever thoughts and guidance you want to share with yourself as a reminder. And the third one is the message you got from your more evolved self in the micro meditation. And it's actually just really beautiful to do that. I put that in my hot date guide that I created, like how to take yourself on a hot date. Like there's a prompt to write yourself a letter, like a love letter. And it was really awesome doing it as part of the book too. Like just, I will somehow figure out a way to like, I'll hide it somewhere, or maybe I'll mail it once I have an address, and just to get these like sweet little reminders and love notes from ourselves.
It's really nice. Yeah.
So what was the biggest lesson that you learned from this book over the past year and a half?
Oh man. I feel like the biggest thing I learned is that love is a skill. Like it's an action. Like, and that I have gotten better at the action of loving, and I feel so much more confident in my ability to love someone in a healthy way.
Can you expand
And
on that?
Yeah, I think before it felt more like a unicorn idea, like finding someone that would love me and that I would love. And now I see it like much more rationally and clearly, like that there's just there's matters of compatibility, um, and being seen and having my core gifts honored, and that just seems really a lot less mysterious than what I was doing before. And to just have someone else validate that the core gifts are the core gifts. Like they're your core gifts, and if someone doesn't like them, you have to move on. Like it's not sustainable. So I think like learning to recognize when people aren't a match, I would say that was maybe the greatest thing that I got from this book.
And have you applied that recently?
Oh yeah, I'm slashing people left, right, and center as soon as they reveal that they're not the right fit. I'm like really like, I shouldn't say slashing, but like dropping. My coach was saying like, it's just not interesting anymore. That's like a dirty teddy bear that you've been dragging around. Why are you carrying that around? Just put it down. That's not for you. So yeah, like, you know, having a coach is really helpful in conjunction with reading the book and having awesome friends like you, having a reading partner, because I think these issues of love, they spread and leak across the board in how we approach all areas of life. So, you know, like taking on a client that's not the right fit, taking on an apartment that's not the right fit, you know, friendships, family relationships is all relationships, and just understanding like where you feel seen and valued, and nurturing those relationships, and just dropping the ones where that's not available.
Yeah. Even like the thought of like buying a pair of pants that doesn't fit, like you'll wear them and you'll try and squeeze into them or whatever, or they'll be too big on you and like you'll be uncomfortable the whole time. And then you'll start thinking like, oh wait, maybe there's something wrong with me. Like, why don't these pants fit? You know, and it then becomes
totally.
It's for sure.
It's just not a fit. Like, and there are so many people out there that aren't a fit. And so learning, because I think as well, like the emotional side of things is so intense that having some structure around the practicalities of love, being able to ground yourself when you're like, oh, but like the sex is really good, or like whatever is really good. It's like, rein it in. Like, am I being seen here? Like, really, am I being seen and valued here? Am I over delivering? You know, like all of these things that he went through in the book. Yeah, so much good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like recently I've been really reflecting on some of my past relationships and people that have come in, and like looking at them again from a fresh perspective and revisiting some of it. And I actually had my very cheating ex-boyfriend reach out to me a couple days ago out of like nowhere on LinkedIn because he's blocked on Instagram.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And he was just trying to communicate with me, and I was like, how can I help you? Like, are you looking to heal? Like, are you looking to make amends? Like, I already did my healing regarding the relationship, and I took accountability for how I was showing up in it years and years and years ago. And he was like, no, there was no help that he needed. He just wanted to wish me well. And I'm like, okay, cool. Bye. But the initial message that he sent me, and like the tone and the language that he used, and like you could feel like some manipulation in it, brought me back to what it was like when we were together, and the energy he brought forward, and how that seemed acceptable to me in the moment. And I was also looking up some old messages with the last guy that I dated. Not actually, I couldn't find messages with him because I deleted them, but it was messages with my friend Monica about him. And like I saw the red flags from the start, you know, and it's just like this like constant worrying. And I was like, I was just ignoring my intuition. And it's beautiful to be able to like look back on these things and be like, I will not make these mistakes again. And I know that for certain.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, it's so funny that you're talking about that. My very first boyfriend ever called me last night.
Oh.
Yeah, because he found out about the head tumor and I guess he wanted to call me. And I was like, I smiled when I saw his name come up on my phone. So I answered it and it just went so, it was so weird, you know, like that feeling. I think, what does Ken say? Let me see if I can find it because it was just so.
How did he get your number? Was it like through a friend or something? Because you've had 100 numbers in like the past 2 years.
We've stayed in touch. Like I was living
Okay.
in my hometown where he lives last summer, and I think I gave him my updated number then.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but basically I think, what's he talking about? Ken's talking about how like those places where you feel just like really unseen and just like in pain in relationships, that they're just showing you they're going to lead you back to the thing that is your gift, but it's going to be painful. And the conversation with him was so painful. And at one point he told me that he's like, you can work on that, you know, about my family.
Oh.
And I was just like, you don't know me and you don't know the work I've done. Like, just, I was like, why are you saying that? Yeah, it was really uncomfortable. I was like, okay, thanks for calling. Like, yeah, it was just really nice to see like how uncomfortable I used to feel like in relationship and how I've come so far.
Okay, so yeah, so connected you with the discomfort that you would
Same
feel.
as you. Yeah, where
Yeah.
you're just like, oh.
I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound like very good. Like hearing about his life or whatever it was that would trigger me. Um, yeah. And then the interesting, like noticing like then how I would fool myself. Like I was like, well, he would never just like ghost, like he would never just disappear. And then he did something pretty similar to that. So it's interesting that it's all coming up, and it's kind of perfect that it's all coming up while we're getting to the end of the book as well. And I've been looking at my marriage as well, and doing some healing around that and really seeing it for what it was versus like most people know once you've been broken up for a while or divorced for a while or away from a person, you tend to remember a lot of the good and less of the bad.
Oh, you think so?
At least with me, it's been
That's
that
so
way.
sweet of you.
Yeah.
You're so sweet.
I don't know if it's sweet or yeah, like I just remember the good times and I remember the love, and maybe I just don't want to remember the shitty parts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been reconnecting with that too. So lots of healing. And
will you make a solo episode when you start dating again? Or I can come back on. I want to hear when you start dating again.
oh
It's
my
gonna be so
gosh,
interesting.
I know. I feel like it's going to be a total game changer. I feel like it's going to be very different.
Totally.
Yeah.
I took a year off of dating and I feel like even just like from like a sexual perspective of like chemistry, like having a year of celibacy and just focusing on myself, God, my like circuitry was so much more expanded, and I've had like really wild, exciting, full range sexual experiences with people. So I feel like you're gonna have just like, you're gonna be a whole new woman.
I think it's going to get wild, Katrina. I think I'm going to be doing
What?
a lot of like sexual exploration. I think I'm going to be dating all kinds of people. Like, I think it's going to be.
Oh my God, I need to tell them about my crazy date with the old man.
Yes, share.
So this was in between the from the last episode. I was falling in love, and then that needed to
Yeah,
end.
maybe you can fill in some of the love stuff
The
too.
gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really beautiful. And we were just kind of in never land together and like dreamed up a world. And then it just wasn't possible. It was a polyamorous situation, and he thought he was emotionally available, but he didn't like sharing his emotional world, which that's kind of emotionally unavailable. Sorry, love you.
True.
So yeah, that was really hard to walk away from that, and to just both of us come to terms with how we have different needs inside of relationship. And it was really beautiful how it ended. Like, we both just shared that really clearly, and I think we left with a lot of love, which was the first time that I fell in love. I didn't lose myself, and I ended it with love.
Wow. And the way you guys ended things was like, Katrina shared with me like some of the interaction back and forth, and it was so grown up, so beautiful, so mature, so respectful, so loving, very inspiring. What do you think? Like, what can you share as part of that, whether it was like your approach to it or something that was said that you think could help others end things in a similar loving way?
Yeah, I think the main thing is to recognize what you need, and if the person's able to give it to you, and to recognize that that's not like personal, and you saying that you need it, like really need it, will not make them more available to provide it. And to just share moment to moment how that's making you feel, while grounding yourself, like sharing, like, I wish that this was possible, but I can see that it isn't. Instead of just being mad and angry, like, I would say take time to feel your feelings by yourself. Like, I wept in nature the weekend before I did that, and like screamed and raged and did all the things. And then a friend was like, this is really causing you more pain than it is joy. And I was like, I know, I need to end this. And then I would also say, like, find a style of communication that works for you. Like, we were writing, he likes texting, and then I would just copy the text into my computer, and I would like respond to each point in like bold so that you could tell the difference. I find that really helpful, because then you're addressing every single point that the person says. Yeah, just focus on needs and availability, and just like keep a level head about it. Share how you feel from a responsible, like, look up nonviolent communication. That's we haven't done that. That's like a relationship game changer. So that ended. I said I needed 6 months of space so that I could like decide if I wanted to have a friendship from like a clear, because once you get sexy with someone from an evolutionary standpoint, your body wants to like them. So that if you produce offspring together, that it has a greater chance of having two parents and a greater chance of survival. So your chemistry is slanted to like them. So like, you're not clear-headed. You need to let that like run its course. So yeah, that was good. And then I went on a date with a 61-year-old.
I remember this.
Wild. I've never dated someone that much older.
And how old are you, Katrina?
Yeah, I'm 29, so he was more than double my age. Hot and diggity damn. We had some really insane sexual chemistry right off the bat, which was cool. And I talked to him on the phone beforehand and was really honest and about the age difference. I was like, have you dated people my age before? And he had. I was like, this is probably going to bring up some daddy issues for me, just so you know. Gave him the whole rundown of like trauma and how that comes up for me, what kind of support I need. I met him on Field, which is like a more sex positive app. And so we talked about sex stuff like pretty quickly on. I'm totally down to have like a sexual based relationship, but I really need to trust the person. Mm-hmm. And yeah, basically it came out pretty quickly that I couldn't trust him based on the way he was talking about another partner that he had. This was also a polyamorous situation. He was saying that when they first got together, she didn't really know what she was doing when it came to sex. So he would like, when she was trying to give to him, he would just like, you know, take charge and like direct the show. And they've been together for 2 years, and, you know, now she's gained confidence and she is like better at it. I think that's what he said. And that whole thing, yeah, like the little face twitch, like it just made me like, blech, like that's gross. And I said to him, I said, well, did you tell her what you wanted and show her? Like, and just the fact that he wasn't honest about what he needed, couldn't ask for what he wanted, and just like overcompensated himself. I found that really unattractive. And how can I trust him? Like, he wasn't honest with her. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of like let that slide a little bit. Because, you know, maybe that's just their dynamic. And then he was talking about his ex-wife, and he said he had to cheat on her. And I was just like, that's a hard no. Yeah. And literally I felt my whole body just like shut down. I was like, cool. My body is so sensitive. It will not have that. And then I had to ask him to leave. It was pretty cool.
Good on you. Honestly, that's okay. Yeah, but well, wait, but like, yeah, so go ahead.
So the things I got out of it.
Yes.
His tongue was so strong. I was like, what is this? Like, the way he made out with me was just like so unique, something I've never experienced before. And it was like, it was so dominant but still not like erratic, you know? Sometimes when people are like really dominant, it's just like jerky.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you on
like a forceful tongue. But that wasn't the case. And it really like snapped me into a submissive place that was like so nice. I love being outside of my head. Like, wow, was really great. And he did this thing where he would like deeply massage my stomach as he was like, I don't know, deep throating.
Can you show me how he was massaging your stomach? Like, I'm trying to like visualize.
Like this.
Oh, like circular motions with like a couple fingers, like just.
Yeah, like really digging in there.
Oh.
It was so hot. And then whatever, that whole thing ended, but I've been like really into the stomach stuff, and then, which is totally new for me. And then with this last guy, we also got into some really deep stomach stuff. It was like kinky shit, like deep pulling of like my belly fat, like,
wow.
And kneading and massaging. It was so erotic in such an unexpected way. I couldn't even, both of us were like, he was like, I've never touched anyone like this. I was like, nobody's ever touched me like this. This is so hot. Yeah. And lots of like so fingers in mouths and like deep throat massage. I couldn't, yeah. Whoa, Maria, whoa.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Have you looked into the stomach stuff? Like what, from like what that does?
Oh, I think just from what I know about energy sex, I think that's just a place of energy stagnation. And so for someone to be deeply needing where energy is getting stuck, it frees it up so that, you know, your circuitry can move through the rest of it more freely. It was really great.
Very cool. So were you, I know I've asked you this, but I'm sure some of the listeners are curious, like with the older man, did daddy stuff come up? Was it weird? Like, did you like at one point be like, oh, your skin feels a little looser on you than it would on someone
It
around
was
my
definitely a 61-year-old. Like his skin was definitely different, and that was fine. You know, just even like age spots, like he's old. Like the most disturbing thing for me, like the thing that like took me aback the most was how blind he was. Like he couldn't figure out how to take off my skirt because it was like a dark color and it had like a button closure and he couldn't see the button. Like,
oh. Did you help him?
Yeah, I helped him. I feel like this is like borderline ageist right now.
I know. That's why I'm like, okay, yeah. Yeah,
So it was
interesting.
cool to like break through that myself and be like, oh yeah, this age doesn't matter. But I didn't go deep enough with him in order for daddy issues
the daddy
to
stuff
come up. Yeah. I feel like it's more like penetrative sex that really messes me up from a trauma perspective.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's very intense to have penetrative sex. It's very invasive.
Yeah, you want to really trust the person. And so that's kind of been a thing for me. Like I go deep with people really quickly, but I like reserve penetrative sex for when I feel like I really trust someone.
Which is cool. And I think that's different than what a lot of people do, you know?
Figure out how to have energy sex, people. It's like really hot. And you learn so much about the person's motives. Like people will be either down to like play that way for hours and hours, or they'll like push you.
Do you have any resources? Like, have you personally created any resources around energy sex or?
My ecosexual course, which should be coming out soon, will teach you how to have energy sex with elements in nature, which is the way to practice, because it's a subtle thing. So if you're not used to tuning into your subtle body and that circuitry and having the energy flow through and letting it build with like breath and movement, then being in like an overtly sexual situation will just like overpower it and it can be harder to tune into it. So yeah, I basically teach the 101 of energy sex inside of ecosexual.
Oh, amazing. And how can people stay updated on that? Do you have an
Yeah,
email list or?
Yeah. Oh, I love you. I love this plug. If you go to katrinamarie.com, and then I think under like writing, there's a newsletter that you can sign up for. And then the ecosexual thing should be like all over my website in a couple of weeks.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, you do really amazing work. I'm definitely going to do it. So
yay. I can't wait for you to get sexy with all that moss in DC.
I have like the sexiest nature around me, like everything you can possibly think of.
And lush.
Oh, yeah. And it rains so much, like it's even more beautiful when it rains or as it's raining. Like just
I can't wait to visit.
I know. Come visit. When are you coming?
I need to look up flights and figure out, my head a little bit.
Yeah, the health stuff for sure. I get that. Well, I'll be here. I don't know where I'll be living, but I might not have shelter for you, but I'm sure we can find a tree or something.
Trees are the best.
There's no bus shelters here, so
really?
No, they have buses. They just don't have bus shelters, which is kind of funny, right? Because of how much it rains.
It's really weird. Like a bus stop, they don't have.
There's no shelter.
Bus stop.
No. Yeah, probably out of the budget. Costs a lot to maintain this place. I don't know. And the nature around. I don't know. Oh God. I think for me, what my biggest lesson was, I was kind of like reflecting on this, is a couple things actually. One is if they're a 10, you should probably not go for them, Maria. Which
if they're a 10?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Ken Page says if they're like basically an 8, 9, or 10, then
Sorry, what are we gauging with the
their
number?
appearance.
Oh,
The
okay.
attraction level.
Okay. Oh, that's different than appearance.
Yes, fair. For me, if
So,
their appearance 10, then the attraction's probably a 10 as well.
okay, so for you, you're saying that you've learned that mega stereotypical hotties are not for you.
Yeah, like that. I probably shouldn't be going after them, although that's a hard pill to swallow. So what's this face you're making?
I'm just like, that's the most important
That's
lesson
one
that
of the
you've
things that
gotten.
has stood out for me for sure.
Okay,
It
explain
is
why to the
because
people.
I give a lot of importance to looks.
Okay, so
And
that's like a better way of saying it. Like you want, there's
yes,
other things that you want to put way more
yes.
importance on.
And that physical draw is important to me. But what Ken Page says is often if there's that like sparks, which is me doing sparks, that it's probably an attraction of deprivation, and there's probably some wounding there that's drawing you to them. And something else that he said that really resonated with me was that to be aware of the nuances in people that might feel familiar to you on a subconscious level, but what's actually keeping you in your patterns.
Ooh, like what are some of the nuances like you feel like you've been attracted to?
It would definitely be, I don't know. I think it's like just an awareness of like, yeah, how they behave and whether they like attention, what's their eye contact, what are their eye contact skills like, just being aware that like there's a lot going on under the surface, and to be aware of what my patterns are and like what I've typically would go for, and maybe try some new things.
That's great.
Yeah.
It
There's
was
been,
cool, your poll that you did on Instagram about how many people weren't that attracted to their current partner like intensely at first and how it built over time. I was like, yes, I love that.
I was
It
so
really,
amazed.
yeah, it really made me want to get off the dating apps and just like be in real life and let these connections grow fucking organically the way they maybe should.
I know, I feel like with you especially, but I think with me as well, it's like if you're looking for it,
Not happening.
it's probably not going to be like the best fit for you. It's like, it's just, I feel like when you're looking, you're operating from your brain, and
I
it's
know.
not a brain thing. And I know we both believe in like, I don't know if it's karma, but just like energy and things coming through when they're supposed to, and people coming through when they're supposed to. So what's meant for you will come, right?
Yeah.
Like my house. So like this house is obviously, this one was not meant for me, so something better is coming. But it's frustrating for me because it's not happening as quickly as I'd like it to. And that's the same thing with dating, right? It's like, well, what can I do to make this happen faster? I'll go on the dating apps, I'll do this, blah, blah, blah.
I know. I have like way too many dating apps.
How many do you have right now?
I have Hinge and I have Field. And I think actually that's it. I deleted Bumble. It's just a lot.
I feel like Field would probably be extra a lot because it's like you're not even, if it's sexual.
I got a full body naked picture from someone the other day after I said I needed to build trust and an emotional and spiritual and intellectual connection. He responded with just a full body naked picture.
Wow.
My response was pretty fire. I was proud of myself. Let me find it for you.
I actually had someone send me a dick pic the other day. Someone
So shocking.
did not know who they were, and I just blocked them.
Good for you.
Very aggressive.
And that it really reveals something, seeing like how they respond. I said, you should ask before you send nudes, however lovely your body may be. He was really hot. His body was beautiful. It's not an excuse for shit communication. And then I put all caps, consent, yo.
And what did
And
he
then
say?
he said, I assumed not giving a fuck meant it was okay, because I told him I had a brain tumor, and so I'm in a not give a fuck mood. But then I went on to talk about how, like, because he had some like really, actually this is interesting. I read it to my sister. You guys would probably, everyone will probably enjoy this little conversation. Let's hope he hasn't deleted me yet. His name's Nick. Okay, so in his description, it said curiosity, mental foreplay, and imagination. So I sent him a message and I was like, hey, I love that. Yes, yes, yes. And then he responded saying, I love public / outdoor sex. I also love that. And bondage, primal sex, love that. Power play, role play, passionate, imaginative sex, power exchanges, and anything with the right amount of danger. That's the short list. And I was like, oof, nice. Like, I was into it. So that's what I said. Okay. And next, he says, my favorite are disobedient little sluts, stripping brats of their independence and turning them into a puddle. I'm a strict disciplinarian, restraints, tie-ups, and swings. I'm all for while administering pain.
Wow.
Yeah, so I said, I'm not into pain or being anyone's slut, but I do like complete surrender and being made to wait a very long time to come. Public sex and risk are also turn-ons for me. I also just found out I have a tumor in my head, so I'm in a major give no fucks mood, looking to find new edges and express myself and my subconscious. I require a lot of trust and intellectual as well as emotional connection. Happy to chat on the phone to see if there's an overlap somewhere between our needs and desires. I'm like, this person sounds like they are experienced and they have a range.
Yeah.
He said, I appreciate your openness. I'll make sure we find a fun balance. I was like, oh, okay. I look forward to the opportunity to nurture growth and know that your personal safety, emotional, and physical well-being are my top priority. Communication and negotiations are key, and no play will be considered before then, but oftentimes those are a turn on. Wow, I can't imagine how your life has been turned upside down. And I just said, oh, great. That's awesome to hear. I'm on a hike right now. It's been a trip and a half, not even a weekend. I don't love texting. Would you be down to chat on the phone later? He gives me his number. I text him. I send him a voice note saying, like, I'm available till 10. Give me a call if you get this before then. And then in the morning, he just sends me this full-body naked picture. I'm like, did you listen at all?
Weird.
Yeah. And then he just got kind of defensive. And I just said, like, you really don't, I'm looking for like a keen listener. And I don't think I'm going to find that here.
Yeah. And did he respond or did you?
He said he always welcomed the opportunity for growth. I imagine your sense of me is accurate on the surface alone, where I tend to be a bit more open and forward. But by all means, don't waste any time. I'm just so done with men being defensive, shitty listeners, poor communicators, and then you say how they're impacting you, and their excuse is that they're open and forward. Yeah. Fuck you. That's not being open and forward. Like, learn how to take feedback.
Agreed. Yeah.
I'll no to that. So yeah, I do feel like I've learned a lot, like being able to say exactly what I want, communicate, and then like cut stuff as soon as you get the hell no.
Yeah. Once the flags come through, once the flags start waving.
Big wave.
Big wave.
We're talking like those giant like patriotic flags
Yeah,
that are
that's
just
what
like way too large, and you're like, oh god, that's embarrassing. That's like the size of red flag. We're just coming through steady.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It takes, honestly, I could not have a conversation like that with that person. I would be like, where I'm at, I'd be like, you are just like very full on and this feels like a lot, and like,
And
goodbye.
ready for full on, but like healthy full on.
Yeah. Yeah. We're definitely in different places regarding that stuff, but yeah, you'll get your healthy full on, I feel. He's not it.
I hope so, Maria. We should definitely have a follow-up episode if anything good comes up.
Yeah. If anything good comes up, just check in. How good is your dating life right now? Okay, let's postpone.
Massive flags just waving on through.
Yeah, maybe in like a few months, like sometime in the new year, we can reconnect on what's going on. And this is really sad though. I'm gonna miss doing this with you. I know we'll still be friends, but I'm sure the listeners are gonna miss this as well.
Yeah.
But all good things come to an end.
Thanks for being here, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Stay tuned. More amazingness to come on the You Relationship podcast, and dating is not going to go away. It'll still very much be a theme. So if you haven't already, please follow Katrina, My Orgasmic Life. Go to her website, katrinamarie.com. Get on her email list. Check out Ecosexual. Like, check out all the amazing things Katrina is up to. As you can tell from the past 12 episodes, she is highly knowledgeable, very grounded and centered, very real, loving, has changed so many people's lives, and any interaction you can get with her will be a blessing. So hit her up.
Thank you.
It's true. And I know you'll be sharing about your personal journey on Instagram probably as well, and on your blog.
Oh yeah, follow along for the most full range of orgasmic rides.
Yes. Yeah. We're all holding you and loving you, and yeah, you're a badass, and nothing can hold you down or bring you down, I should say.
Yeah, let's hope I get to keep having amazing sex and find even better compatible partners throughout this whole journey.
You definitely will.
Thanks, love. I can't wait for you to start dating again.
Yeah, it'll be a trip, that's for sure. I love you.
I love you too.
We love you, listeners. Thank you
for
listening. You. Get the book, Deeper Dating by Ken Page.
We love you too, Ken.
We love you, Ken. If you're listening, thank you for all this work that you're doing. It's amazing. And you really helped us and many, many more people.
Totally.
Amazing.
Peace out.
Bye.